Je m'appelle Stuart Aschenbrenner.
You picky prick. Stuart's series selection.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Best Thriller Books Stuart Series Selection. And I am joined by the one and only Sasquatch himself, Steve Netter. Steve, thank you for coming on today as we talk about an author that you and I both really like and have talked about a lot, and that is Nick Petrie. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick our favorite book of all of the Nick Petrie novels. And Steve, I will, as my special guest, I will let you go first if you want to give me your selection for your favorite Nick Petrie book.
Is this Steve's series selection then? Is that
Yeah, it works perfect. Don't even have to change the acronym.
There you go. Thanks for having me on, Stu. I appreciate it. And yeah, Nick Petrie is one of my favorites, and certainly think that as great as he is, he's still underrated a little bit as well. So happy to talk about his books, and it's tough to pick just one. I love them all so much. Peter Ash is such a great character. The other folks in the books are amazing as well. And I was originally going to go with the first one, The Drifters, because it sets the stage and all that. But as I was looking through the catalog, I realized there's one that really stood out to me, and it is Tear It Down, which I believe is right in the middle of the series, like the fourth book or something like that. And what I like about it and why it resonates with me is it's sort of Peter's trying to figure out who he is and who he wants to be and how he's going to sort of live with, the PTSD he has. And, June Cassidy's in his life now, which I love her to death. And so, she's watching him go through some stuff, and it's like, you need to be on the move. You need to get out there. And I got something for you to go work on. I need you to help a friend of mine. And he goes to Memphis, and all hell breaks loose. And Lewis comes in, who's another character I adore greatly. And they get into some stuff with some bad dudes and crack some heads and save the day. And just that sort of the action that happens in that book, along with the character development, to me, just sort of sets him on the path going forward. Into the next set of books, which are fantastic, and I think it's just a great pivot point in the series.
Awesome. Man, you sold that really well. I didn't pick that one, although I really like that book, and I'll kind of take you through my process on how I was trying to gauge mine. So part of my first choice was probably recency bias mixed with like the timing of it. But first I was like, it has to be The Runaway because of when I read it. I read 3 books the month before my daughter was born, and they all had pregnant women in them by chance. I had no idea when I picked them up. And so I have like a very special kinship to those books. So that was the first choice. And then I started thinking through some of the other ones. And this is my second choice. I'm pulling a Todd here and giving you 3 books.
Ew.
But I'll tell you why this one was one of my top picks, which is Burning Bright. We're introduced to June, and the beginning of this book, the first 10% of this book, is so incredibly vivid to me, with Peter Ash running from a bear and going up into the tree and finds June. It was such a wild beginning that I found that book not long later and still have a very vivid memory of that kind of opening sequence. But the book I landed on, which was a really hard decision, was The Wild One. Taking place in Iceland. And of course, I think it kicks off with Peter Ash in an airplane going to Iceland or something similar. And this book was just such a fun read. Like a lot of Nick Petrie's books have Midwest to Northwest ties, which is always fun being from the West Coast. But that one was just such an adventure read. And I believe, now that I'm actually thinking about it, this might have come out during quarantine or around there, I think.
Right at the beginning, right?
That very well could be. And I don't know that for sure, so I'm just speculating. 2020. So it came out in 2020. And it felt like such an adventure read. Like you're finally out of the house and you're in this different country and traveling with Peter Ash. So my selection was The Wild One.
You can't go wrong with any of those. And if I knew we were pulling a Todd, I would have brought in a couple others myself. But no, I mean, Burning
So
Bright was
sorry.
high on my list too, right? Because like I said, I absolutely love June Cassidy and her introduction, literally in the trees, is just like you said, is very memorable.
Yeah.
And her she only grows from there, right? So that's a good choice. And The Runaway was great as well. I mean, again, good news, can't go wrong with any of the books. I think they're all fantastic.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
That way I'm not just sitting here by myself in my office and I actually have company. So I appreciate you coming on and talking about the great author that is Nick Petrie.
My pleasure, Stu.
Cool. Let us know in the comments what your favorite Peter Ash or Nick Petrie book is. And we will see you there in the comments. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Steve.
Got it.